Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. We open in the Arizona desert with an aspiring fireman running training drills with his friend Annie. Wayne simulates falling asleep while smoking, but while saving the girl he notices a growing light in the sky. A meteorite survives entering the atmosphere and the agile earthling barely makes it out of the way before it crashes into his car. It devastates Annie and embeds itself deep within the desert of Glen Canyon, where Kane works as a biology professor at the community college. Brothers Deke and Danny are the only ones who fail his class because they wrote a paper about their uncle's prison cell instead of the building blocks of life. Speaking of blocks, Harry's a geology professor and must give this student a pass or else she can't go to medical school. Despite worries that Nadine may kill if she becomes a nurse, Harry agrees to meet her later for some extra credit. He leaves for lunch with Ira, during which they check out the crash site, having received a call about the meteorite. The pair meet Wayne while Harry slings around his teaching license like an FBI badge, and he's here to take over a crime scene. They tell the fireman to take his charred girlfriend and beat it, then learn the meteorite plummeted 80 feet below the desert into a cavern.
Now that's a hole.
Underground we meet Officer Johnson taking photographic evidence, and he's tricked into thinking that these teachers have any kind of jurisdiction. When they leave, Ira and Harry chip away a sample from the organic space rock that appears to bleed when assaulted. They take it to the school's lab where Ira studies the liquid, and part of Harry's backstory is that he coaches the girls' volleyball team for some reason. The one that takes his character seriously learns that the blue gunk are single-celled organisms duplicating fast enough to break a slide. He rushes to tell Harry about the discovery, but Ira becomes concerned when the alien goes through millions of years of evolution in a matter of hours. Now a multi-celled organism, Harry's only question is how to avoid taxes when receiving his winnings from the Nobel Prize. The next day they take Ira's class on a field trip to survey the crash site and once again convince Johnson that it's all above board. Deke and Danny are left on watch so that the clumsy students don't get everybody killed, only themselves, when they almost plunge 80 feet into the hole. Upon getting to the meteorite, the class find a fungal-like growth spreading throughout the cave, converting oxygen into methane. Nadine makes the discovery when feeling the wrigglies around her toes that the cells have already evolved into flatworms. Unable to leave the atmosphere without suffocating, the scientists bottle some up with worms and smuggle it back to the school. They should just give this girl the extra credit at this point, since she also makes the discovery that the worms reproduce through mitosis. Meanwhile, Wayne takes the test that he's been training for, but with all the late nights making sure Annie's okay, he's fallen asleep. When he sackwhacks himself with a fireman's hose on the ladder, he must wait another 6 months until the next test, and somehow this car survived. He returns to his day job as a pool boy at a resort and comes across more of the methane-dependent flatworms succumbing to the oxygen. They're emerging from a fissure in the supply room, so about to melt these suckers with bleach, Wayne suddenly hears a noise coming from the filter. He looks to see the ugliest alien tadpole in existence, then just backs away and leaves it there for someone else's problem. The teachers return to the site the next day to find the army have established a base around the meteorite and refuse entry. A random soldier tries to shoot Ira, claiming that he caused the worst time of his life, before being dragged away, hopefully for a psych evaluation. Dr. Kane worked with General Woodman at the Pentagon but created a failed vaccine that inflicted many soldiers. The General and Colonel Fleming have been monitoring Ira's computer, which is how they knew about the discovery.
All those girls in the photos are over 18.
The clumsy Dr. Allison, who wears a garter belt to go spelunking, is the government's chief researcher that'll be replacing our boys. The General refuses to acknowledge their role in the discovery but also calls Harry Mr. Black instead of Block, so take that as you will. Bringing this to the courts to try be a part of the case, it backfires when Allison puts Ira on the stand to reveal his disgraced past. He's responsible for thousands of soldiers falling ill with symptoms they called the Kane madness, which got him fired from the Pentagon. Their case is thrown out, so they return to the school where Ira's lab has been ransacked and all of their research stolen. To try get another sample, they disguise themselves as soldiers and break into the crash site, which seems a hell of a lot easier than it should be. Everyone just assumes that Ira's a general, and when they switch over to containment suits they think they're here to collect a nocturnal specimen. The government have sealed off the cave from the outside world and installed an elevator so that no organic matter can get in or out. Inside, the boys find an alien rainforest bustling with life, having all evolved from the single-cell organisms in a matter of days. Some of the heavy hitters are a large carnivorous plant and a giant spider with a shapely butt on the back of its head. They try to capture a lobster spider, but Butt Cheeks over here eats it, so they begin talking about Allison because something reminds them of her. She overhears them calling her heartless on the camera, so confronts the intruders, threatening to have them arrested for the accurate description. As they argue about their offices being ransacked, Harry makes enemies of an alien mosquito that doesn't like to be shooed away. It slices into his containment suit, but by the time they can get out of there and take it off, the insect has moved into his body. A surgeon's required to amputate a leg and save his life, but the patient resists the procedure because he thinks he's an athlete. When it goes for his groin, Harry's willing to sacrifice anything, but the doctor comes up with the idea of clamping it in the colon. Kicking and screaming, Harry's held down while the doctor's forceps pretty much touch a lung in his pursuit of the alien. It takes some time to calm the patient down as he requires ice cream to heal, not for himself but to place between his cheeks. In the morning, when Harry limps his tender behind back to the office, they find Wayne waiting for them with a surprise. He bagged himself an alien gator dog and tells the story of how last night it killed some douchebag at the country club. Barry was having a romantic evening down at the 9th hole at 9, but his bottle of champagne blew its load all over his legs. While cleaning himself off, Gatormutt chased him across the green before dragging him into the lake right in front of his horrified date. Fortunately, he was no big loss for the community, while another strange creature has appeared in the gun-toting Jill's house. This Lady Grace needs some new friends because despite having the gun, her current ones sacrifice her to the closet monster. It's just some harmless-looking watercow thing, but attempting to pet the pudgy alien, a bird-like tongue takes a bite of her hand. Before Jill can put it down, the creature succumbs to the oxygen, and our boys arrive to learn it used a network of underground tunnels to escape. Again, these school teachers are allowed to walk around some random lady's home by the police until Wayne finds something you might want to check out.
Great!
Out back, dozens of alien dragons have crawled out of the canyon trying to adapt to the oxygen, but all have died so far. One of the choking creatures, however, vomits up a birthing sac which contains a fully adapted alien that can breathe and fly away. It heads straight for the Tumbleweed Mall and crashes through the glass in its pursuit of catching shoplifters. It locates a young thief stealing clothes and takes her for the ride of her life, flying around this massive mall for such a small town. The boys show up and head straight for the unattended gun racks, where they're having a 5-finger discount on shotguns. The flying raptor's probably just looking for a good place to chow down on this lady, while Ira goes to the upper level for a better shot. The animal whisperer sings through a microphone, which doesn't so much as attract the creature but annoys it enough to want Wayne dead. Returning to shut him up, Harry tackles the lady out of the clutches of the alien while Ira pumps one into its chest from above. Finishing it off and feeling like the men, they drive straight down to the meteorite where Governor Lewis is tearing Woodman a new one. Allison explains that in 3 days the aliens will have taken over the whole canyon, while in 2 months the entirety of America. The general's plan is to burn the entire canyon with napalm, but the smart people advise against it since they don't know how the aliens will react. Lewis is initially going to listen to Ira's decision on the matter until realizing that the aliens have reached the Stone Age. Primates knock out the cameras and send the elevator up as a distraction as they leap the 80 feet out of the hole and begin attacking. Despite all of these soldiers, not a single one fires a bullet, while only fists are thrown and one dude even loses his life. Eventually Wayne picks up a gun and shoots the blue monkey, but this just means the governor gives Woodman the go-ahead. Since these people don't appreciate her work, Allison joins the boys after giving back all of their stolen research. They head to the school while the whole town evacuates except for the students throwing an end-of-the-world party on campus. While sitting around trying to come up with an idea on how to destroy this stuff without burning down their city, Harry tosses a lit match into a petri dish and learns that not only is the napalm going to fail but also turn these things into the blob. They try to warn the general, but he doesn't take their call, so there's nothing else to do but get drunk with Deke and Danny.
Hey, can we have that when you guys are done with it?
Looking at the elements on a periodic table, Ira deduces that if arsenic is our poison, then selenium could kill the nitrogen-based aliens. Not sure how that works, but the flake-free brothers recall selenium sulfide as an ingredient in the movie's big product placement. It's lucky that this town has such a horrible dandruff problem, because the team steal enough Head and Shoulders to load up a fire truck. Once the also stolen truck has consumed all of Arizona's supply, they head for a secret entrance that only the geologist knows about. The governor has set up camp to watch Woodman's napalm strike, so the team rush to the meteorite before their time runs out. Defended by the blue Big Feet, our team line them up with some shampoo when suddenly bombs go off ahead of schedule. Everything morphs into a single mass that absorbs all of the wildlife around it and chases the group out of the cave. Expecting to celebrate a successful extermination, the government are met by a giant fleshy mass that stands hundreds of feet above the town. As it destroys the surrounding houses, our team clear the area before noticing that the alien is already beginning to duplicate. Since the military aren't going to prevent this thing from taking over, it's up to our hairdressers with their never-ending supply of selenium. They drive the fire truck under the giant alien and park below the sphincter as we're going to give this thing a shampoo enema. Harry climbs the ladder and inserts the hose into the cavity where they pump the equivalent of what would be poison up our own. Naturally, the organism clenches and Harry's nearly consumed, but Ira pulls him free once we get an exhale out of it. They speed off in the truck as the blob has a seizure, then explodes, raining chunks of alien all over the canyon. Our group of misfits are dubbed heroes, and while the generals hosed off Dr. Kane and Allison share an alien butt juice covered kiss. The governor begins with Wayne, who's made a full-fledged firefighter despite stealing their truck only moments earlier. Harry gives a thank you speech like he's coaching a volleyball team, while Ira and Allison skip the event to get busy in the truck. The final scene shows the boys in a new commercial for Head & Shoulders while our flakeless brothers get no credit. And the movie ends.